Shut up and sit down.
The co-host of the Hot Mess Comedy Hour, please welcome Andrea Allan.
Welcome to Sarge Approved. I'm Sarge, and I'm here with Frenzy. Hey, Frenzy.
Woo woo. What up, Sarge?
What's up? We have a guest tonight, and our guest is comedian Andrea Allan. How's it going, Andrea?
What's up? Hey, guys.
Andrea, hey.
You are a comedian and a podcaster. You have a podcast called the Hot Mess Comedy Hour.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
And you've got kind of a cool theme song that I've had stuck in my head all damn day.
I'm glad that we're infiltrating your mind. That's our plan.
Where did you find this amazingly badass theme song?
So when me and my co-host started thinking about doing the show, we were just kind of talking about how fucked up all comedians are, ourselves included, and like everyone in our lives. That particular, like the beginning part about waking up, giving someone a blowjob, personal story of mine. I went on a few-day coke bender. This is when I was still drinking, which I fortunately and unfortunately don't drink anymore. But you know, I just went on a big tear, and I woke up in a stranger's bed, and then I went and I got my nipple pierced a few hours later. So it was just like,
you hadn't made enough bad decisions. You're like, why not throw a nipple piercing on top of that?
I had to keep the party going. So we just thought about, like, I don't know. The idea of our show is that everyone's a hot mess and everyone has these stories. So we approached a friend of ours who's like a kind of a folk singer, because we thought it would be funny if it's in that like kind of innocent folksy sound. And we told him the story, and he actually he just came up with it and sent us a bunch of different versions, and then we recorded from there. So we actually got a message from someone, I want to say in like Zimbabwe, somewhere crazy like Africa, saying like, your theme song is the best theme song out there. I listen to it all the time. Like, wow, it's really resonating across the globe.
That's awesome.
Everyone's sucking dick and doing coke.
So the bigger question is so do you have a like an anniversary that you celebrate for like Bad Decision Day? Because it was just like a bunch of bad decisions in one day. So like celebrate that shit once a year.
I should. Honestly,
you should.
If I don't think I could designate a day. I think I have like 4 or 5 years of bad decisions. I'm 28 now, but like most of my early 20s. I mean, I'm still making bad decisions, but just, different kinds of bad decisions now. Less of them involve like getting tackled by police officers and,
Right, they're just a little bit smarter.
Sure.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'll give myself that credit, I guess.
I'm gonna play your theme song here real quick. It's
awesome.
It's really cool. I love it.
Thanks. I'm glad you guys like it.
Have you ever woke up with a nose full of coke and a stranger's limp dick hanging down your throat and thought, where am I and where did my childhood go? So you put on your pants and you dust off the coat and swap out the dick for a microphone and say, welcome to the Hot Mess Comedy Hour.
okay.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. So yeah, that's your badass theme song.
Thank you.
Who is it that wrote that and performed that?
His name is Ben Shapiro. He's a musician in New York, but honestly, he doesn't really promote himself at all anymore. He just kind of drifts around. He's like a really weird guy. So he's quasi-homeless sometimes. He's kind of a cool cat. But I guess if your fans are interested, you could search Ben Shapiro on Facebook, but I can never seem to, find him anywhere. So, yeah.
Well, he's
an anomaly.
Yeah,
He is.
the man to go to for awesome folksy theme songs.
Yes, Ben Shapiro.
All right.
So you said earlier that you are originally from Canada, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm from
Where
Vancouver.
in Vancouver? Oh. I've never been. It's on my bucket list. I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah.
I've been in Winnipeg.
Okay.
How far is that?
Very, very different place. Pretty far. What were you doing in Winnipeg?
I was like 19, and me and a couple of buddies of mine decided that
Go drink.
Go drink, yeah, legally.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. We all talk about you Americans who come up and try to drink and get fucking wasted and.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. Fair enough. I would have done the same thing. Yeah. Vancouver is a cool spot. It's a really beautiful city. It's kind of like a West Coast chill. It's like Portland, Oregon, kind of. But if you like weed, I would highly suggest going there too because they have great pot and everyone's pretty relaxed.
Is it legal there?
It's not legal, but it's decriminalized, and it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing as like I guess you would say Denver. I think Denver is actually legal, but cops are not going to go after you if you're smoking it as long as you're not acting a fool.
You're not as long as you're not blowing
addicts.
As long as you're not blowing bong hits right into the cops' faces.
Yeah,
they're cool.
One day soon, I hope.
Do something.
That's the future that I hope to live in.
I thought that they were like really strict about pot up in Canada.
Some parts of Canada they are, but the West Coast, no, not really. It's so much. They make so much money off of it. Why would they be?
Well, yeah,
right.
And anyone would. It's hard to believe that it's not legal worldwide because it's a cash crop.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Not only for smoking, but for hemp and all the uses that hemp can provide.
Sure, medical shit too.
Well, yeah, I mean all kinds of shit. Not just to smoke weed, but actual hemp. The hemp plant. You can make clothes and paper and fucking houses out of hemp.
I know. It's dumb.
Super dumb.
Yeah.
Let's pause real quick so we can hear a word from our sponsor.
Shut up.
Hey, this is Frenzy here to talk to you about National Survival Center. This is the place where you can purchase all of your outdoor camping gear and supplies, survival kits, disaster preparedness supplies, bug out bags, and even survival food. All with some of the lowest prices on the internet and free shipping on almost everything. You can depend on National Survival Center to provide you with the highest quality gear paired with superior customer service. And when you purchase your gear from National Survival Center, you're not only getting a great product, but you're receiving products that have all been hand tested to ensure that they'll be reliable, durable, and that they'll function properly. So whether you need some gear for a family camping adventure, or maybe you want to stock up for the zombie apocalypse, National Survival Center can provide you with the quality products you're looking for. You can find them at www.nationalsurvivalcenter.com or www.survivedon'tsuffer.com. Either way, don't suffer. Make sure you survive.
And we're back. All right.
Hello.
Andrea Allan, comedian, podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming to us from New York?
Yep.
How long you been in New York? You're a born Canadian, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How long have you been in the States?
I moved to New York to study fashion design. So I moved here when I was 19, and I went to college here. I went to Parsons, which is a design school. If you guys know Project Runway, that's the school that I went to. And then I worked in fashion for about 4 or 5 years, and then I started doing comedy about 3 years into that, and just slowly it started to take over my life, and now I work full time doing comedy. I work for a podcast studio, and I do stand up all the time. So that's what brought me to New York.
Yeah, but how do you go from fashion to comedy?
Well, so I always listen. There's a podcast called Keith and the Girl, which is a really, really old podcast. They've been around for about 10 years. And I listened to them when I was like a teenager. I was a really big fan, like a huge comedy nerd. So I used to hang out in the comedy scene. I knew a lot about comedy. My family was really into it. My older brother was always like, sneaking me Patrice O'Neill stuff and like Chappelle Show and all that stuff. I always knew about it and was involved in it in some way. I started to intern for the podcasters that I now work for when I was in college, and I started to sort of become friends with people in the New York comedy scene. And I think I always wanted to do it, but I just didn't have the guts, or I didn't think it would be something that I could do. And then actually it was the hurricane in New York, not the first one, but the second one that was like super fucked up. I was stuck inside for like, a couple days with nothing to do. And so I was like, well, maybe I should just write some jokes. Like, why not just do that? And then I started going to open mics, and I just knew right away that this was something that I wanted to do, all the time. I was working in fashion, 9 to 5, like pretty serious career, and then out doing stand-up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then sleeping for a few hours. And I did that for years. I actually just quit my full-time like fashion job about 6 months ago. So
congratulations.
Okay. That's
Thank
awesome.
You. Yeah.
So how long did it take you? What was the time frame from when you kind of first started writing those first jokes, being barricaded by blusterous winds, until you are at the point where you could not, quit the fashion job situation?
It probably took me about, I want to say 4 years. Yeah,
okay. I
would think so. Like, I work for a podcasting studio now, so that's like kind of a day job. So, but I also have my own podcast, and so I'm kind of like half in the podcasting world, half in the stand-up world. But yeah, New York's fucking competitive city to do stand-up in.
Right.
It's really great in terms of like getting better. A lot of people come to New York to improve and like take their comedy to the next level, but making like decent money in comedy in New York is not a reality.
Right.
You gotta hustle so hard.
It's more like of a kind of like a confidence builder, like getting better and
sure.
Yeah.
All the best. I feel like all the best. Well, there are great comedians all over the world, but it seems to me that a lot of the great ones come here. So being around people like that all the time, it kind of like it makes you step up your game. It forces you to improve, and it's happening so much. Like, I'll be out at a few different shows every night if I can. So you could go up like 10 or 20 times a week if you wanted to here. If you're a fucking lunatic, which I definitely have been at some times.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen your stand-up.
But it's...
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah, I have too.
You just go balls to the wall when you're on stage.
Oh, geez. What have you guys seen?
You cuss like a sailor. You cuss like a sailor. You got a potty mouth on you, girl.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a pretty blue comic. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's entertaining.
I liked it though. It's funny. I like it.
Thank you. I'm glad. That's very nice of you guys to say.
You have the physicality for sure.
Oh yeah. No, I'm pretty into, one of my first comics that I like got super obsessed with was Sam Kinison, and
that dude's intense.
He's a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
He's running around. He's screaming.
Yeah.
So I'm less so like that. Like, I'm still a very dirty comic, very loud, super physical. But I get a little less manic. I think when you first go on stage and you kind of like having that manic energy is really exciting, and you have to learn how to kind of taper it or use it more effectively.
Yeah, it seems like you kind of like it. You feed into it when you're getting into that zone. Like it just kind of sucks you in even more, and you just feed right into it, and it just escalates to its highest point.
Oh yeah, a lot of people in my first few years, some people thought I was fucking nuts. Like a lot of people who are my friends now, would be like, yeah, I would, after you do a set, I'd be like, is that girl okay? But I don't know, man. I just had this fucking rage, and I love being filthy on stage, and the fact that people don't like women being filthy on stage just makes me want to be more filthy. You know, I'm kind of like a contrarian person. I'm really aggressive, so I'm definitely a little calmer now, but still, I don't know. I'll say I'm calmer. Like I have a competition coming up with Caroline's. It's called March Madness. Caroline's is a comedy club in New York. Yeah. And I work there sometimes, and you know, you got to be a little bit cleaner in clubs and a little bit more, like, you know, palpable for tourists, because there are a lot of tourists.
Right, and they're judgy.
Sure. I mean, some of them are fun, but sometimes you'll get, like, a group of people from, I don't know, Germany who don't know what you're saying. And they're like, who's that fucking crazy bitch yelling about cum?
Your Facebook profile, the little tag on the front page says mostly cum-based jokes.
I'm trying to just, you know, calm it down a little bit, and they're like, oh yeah, what are some of your new materials? I'm like, okay, well, there's this one bit about drinking cum, and then there's one bit about, you know, kicking guys in the crotch. I'm like, fuck. gotta write a joke that's not about being crazy, but I don't know. A lot of it's my voice, and you know, and I think your voice shifts over time, and and you kind of try things. I think often when you early in your career, you try other people's voices from that what you like.
Well, I bet you that kind of tones down the hecklers with the way that you just kind of go balls to the wall on the stage. I can't imagine too many people have the balls to actually try and heckle you.
Yeah, that's true. I've actually never been heckled before.
What?
And yeah, that's probably why. Yeah.
Not one time.
Not one time. I mean, I'm also like, wow. I'm pretty tall, and I wear like a lot of fur. I think I'm like a little scary to some people, which is funny. I'm not in person. I'm like totally normal, I swear. But on stage, certainly, I think people think I'm a little bit fucking nuts for sure.
How tall
especially men, definitely.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty tall for a girl.
Yeah, 6'2" in heels.
Oh shit!
But it's good now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
There's always something with when we're doing, you know, through Skype or Facebook Messenger. There's always an issue with drop calls, but it's hard to have people in studio. You know, it's just being able to connect online like this it broadens our guest potential.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, so
no,
much.
I totally get that.
But we always have to battle through some kind of audio issue.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's the
I understand
connection, but
yeah,
so
don't worry about it.
So where did we leave off last?
Well, you've basically been at this whole comedy thing about what, 4 or 5 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doing stand up, and it's hard to how have you not had any hecklers? Not even one little inkling of a heckler. There's got to be something.
I don't know, man. I control a room pretty fiercely. I've hosted shows, and I've had people heckle other comics when I'm hosting, and I've gone after those people. I don't know. People don't really get in my face ever. I think
the fierce Andrea Allan.
Yeah, man, it's real. I say that now, and I'm gonna get fucking taken down. I've bombed plenty of times, but I just I haven't ever been heckled. I actually bombed about 6 months ago. I did Legion of Skanks, which is another podcast. They put together a festival called Skankfest in New York, and I did a naked roast battle as a part of that festival.
What?
And
what is that?
It was fucking. It's just so it's a roast battle. One comic versus another. There are 3 rounds, so a total of 6 comics. And I did it against a friend of mine, and I didn't realize how nervous I would be. I guess being naked, I thought I wouldn't care at all, but when I got there, it totally threw me off. And the guys on the dais were like Mike Lawrence and Ari Shaffir, like really, really good comedians.
Yep.
And there was about 200 people in the audience, and I just fucking froze. I lost all my confidence. I think that's the least confident
So is
I've ever
everybody
been.
naked or just you two?
But the judges were naked too. Everyone was naked that was on the stage. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm talking like pussy out, no underpants, everything. Yeah. It was so bad. There was so many people. Michael Che was in the audience. It was just like, it's the worst possible place to bomb, and I bombed so fucking. I was scared. I don't often feel scared on stage, and that was just like, I was such a fucking pussy. It sucked.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. You know, it's like they say, never fight naked. I can imagine it's just as difficult to
Go roast naked.
try to roast naked.
Yeah.
Especially with a room full of people.
Yeah, it was the worst. It
Wow.
was fucking terrible.
So,
Yeah.
who is it you were going against?
A comedian named Billy Persida. He's a friend of mine, and he fucking sucks at stand-up too, and he beat me, which, oh my god. I wasn't even, he was so happy about winning, and I was just like, ugh, all right, I'll give you this, because I know I'm better than you are, but it just sucks. Yeah. Stand-up is tough on the ego sometimes.
Did you guys have to just come up with your comedic insults like on the fly right then and there, or did you get a chance to kind of prepare?
They give you time. I knew about it. You know what? I didn't spend time. What I didn't realize is roast jokes are a lot different than being on stage, like just doing stand-up. It's a lot. The writing has to be a lot more precise and quick, and you should try a bunch of them and like run them by a lot of people. I wrote the night before, which I should not have.
Somebody's
What is
bumping,
with the scratchiness?
Andrea, you're bumping your mic or something.
I'm bumping my mic. Okay, hold on.
Big time.
How's that? Yeah, so I don't know. I should have written for like 2 or 3 weeks at least, and written like they say with roast jokes, you should write like 60 and expect to get 10 good ones out of that. Yeah. But I was cocky. I thought I could ride on my confidence, and I didn't prepare the writing. And then I was naked, and I thought I would be totally cool with that, and I wasn't. And it wasn't that I wasn't cool about it. I think it was actually more the comics who were on the dais. When I saw who was there and like who was involved, I was like, fuck. This is really big.
Plus, you were going against a comic that you knew. Is this the first time you guys had seen each other naked?
No, we fucked before. I've seen him naked plenty of times. I don't give a shit about what he looks like naked.
I don't know if that makes that easier or more difficult.
It was easier for me. Yeah,
you lost,
for sure.
Though. You lost.
I mean, yeah, but it wasn't as painful. I look better naked than he does, so at least I looked good naked. That's the rub with that, is I looked pretty good. But otherwise, what a fucking bust. I didn't think he was going to be a threat in terms of his jokes either. I thought I would write better jokes, but he prepared for months, and I did it the night before like a fucking asshole, and I got my pussy handed to me on stage. Pretty much, it was a nightmare.
So it was bad. It was one-on-one then, like
yeah,
just like
you do rounds,
like a rap battle.
Yeah,
Detroit,
very much so. Yeah,
underground.
Yeah.
But naked.
But naked. Yeah. So you do you walk on stage naked, and then they do like 3 different rounds. Each round you can say like 3 separate jokes about the person, and then the final round you do like a paragraph long or like a longer sort of fully formed bit
Holy shit, that's a lot.
Yeah. And I didn't.
That's a lot to do with clothes on.
Yeah, I know.
Was it at least warm out? Or was it like,
it was.
my nips are totally going to cut glass, or it was fine?
I think my nips were going to cut glass because I was on edge. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. The temperature of the room was okay, but
okay, good.
I was.
That makes it a little better.
Yeah, I was eating shit. So
did the guy?
But I feel like you can't really count that one as like a shit bomb or whatever you want to call it, because you're naked and you have all these other stuff going on. What about, has there ever been a time where it's just been like a one time, like that joke sucked and I redid it, or I decided to delete it, or whatever? Like there has to be a bombing situation. A bomb?
Oh yeah. I've bombed. That was the naked one was the most terrible bomb, where there was like
absolutely.
Silence.
Yeah.
Like it's humiliating. I don't think anyone, until you've had that happen to you, you don't know how bad it feels. But
but hold on, don't you feel like a badass now because that happened to you and you're like, fuck
yes,
I did that fucking shit, and I can basically do anything I want to from here on out, and it will be better than that.
Yeah, I did very much have my friends. I put my clothes on, and my friends took me to like a diner, and I just sat there and was like, fuck. And my friend was like, listen, you can look at it negatively, or you can say that this is the worst thing that in comedy that can happen, and it's happened, so you know how it feels. And
absolutely.
And you can say, I'm going to work super hard if this opportunity, something like this comes along, or in general, I'll work harder, I'll write more so that I don't get caught in a situation like this. Like it's all with stand up. You have to treat everything like a learning experience, and you're going to fall on your fucking face all the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have weeks, I'll have nights where I have like a fucking great show, and then the next one, the same bits will just flop, or, you know, I'll have a weird vibe with an audience member or something like that, and it'll just feel like shit. I don't know. I think getting good at stand-up is about controlling the variables in the room as much as you can. And the only way that you can do that is by being in a lot of rooms and just doing it and doing it and doing it. But
or just scare the shit out of the audience so that nobody fucks with you.
Or that.
I mean, sometimes I'm too aggressive for audiences. Like I'll have to try to reel it back, because I will scare people. But sometimes that aggression works in my favor. It's just I have to learn how to kind of like hamper it a little bit, I guess.
But the ultimate goal, you know, I think the ultimate goal, especially as a comedian, is to eventually get a following. Your crowd is your fans, the people that know your comedy, and they know exactly what they're expecting when they come to one of your shows. And you can weed out the people that have no business being at your shows are gonna be scared away. You know, those tourists, you know, the retirement, you know, a bunch of old ladies just fresh from fucking Vegas or something watching an Elton John show. You know, they're not going to be particular to your kind of comedy.
Yeah.
That's the goal,
I mean,
right? To have your kind of people at all your shows. So fuck it. You shouldn't always have to, you know, cater your act to the crowd.
Sure. No, but I feel like every comedian has some sort of thing that they do differently that they shouldn't have to cater to. Like it's like everyone has kind of their own little niche or however the fuck you want to say it, but like they have their own little thing that it's like, well, this is kind of what I do, so if you like it, awesome. If you don't, go fuck yourself. Like there's, you know, you shouldn't have to apologize for the way that you do what you're passionate about. Like you do it because that's what you want to do. Yeah, and you do it how you want to do it.
You have to know what you're willing to compromise on and what you're not, I think.
Right.
Especially as you get, like, you know, more commercial opportunities, you have to decide where you're willing to bend to what people want and where you won't. So, it's always a challenge to, like, toe that line. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Does the name Kevin Goatee sound familiar to you?
It does.
Comics, watching comics.
Uh-huh. I just messaged him after Sarge was giving me shit on Facebook Messenger about not listening to his full show.
Right.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. I listened to an entire episode of yours today.
Hey, sorry. I was in a rush. Listen, I work for a podcasting studio. I have a podcast. I know so many people who are podcasters. I love podcasts, but sometimes I'm like, fuck, I can't listen to it.
You were on his very first teaser for that show.
That's so funny. I didn't know.
Yeah, did you even know that?
No, I didn't. He used to carry a camera around all the time. I used to see Kevin. I see him sometimes now, but he used to always be carrying a camera around, and he made me sign something once at like an open mic, and I was like, sure. But I haven't seen the teaser. I'm sure I'm like screaming or something like that on there.
He's gonna send you a letter like in a couple weeks, being like, "You owe me 15 G's. Sign this piece of paper."
Yeah,
like, way back in the day.
You signed over your fucking power of attorney to Kevin Goatee.
Oh God,
he owns your name.
Oh, that's the fucking end of me, isn't it?
Yeah, gotta read that.
He's gonna make you sign up to be a model on The Price is Right when he takes it over as host.
That's what he's gonna do. It's a paying gig. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun.
So you've got this comedy, your stand-up going, and you've got your podcast. How long has this podcast been going so far?
We've been doing the podcast, I think I would say probably a year and a half, I think.
How many episodes?
I think we're just about to hit our 100th episode. Okay, so,
cool.
Yeah.
Shit, what do you got planned for the 100th?
I don't know, man. I gotta think of something. We showed our tits already, but like it's an audio podcast, so no one saw it. But we did it with the guests anyways to freak them out. Maybe we'll do a live show. I think. Yeah. The podcast is really fun. It's been a really cool way for us to build our audience and also to meet other you can kind of meet really cool comics that you wouldn't normally meet when you have a podcast. Like, I'm sure you guys know this. You can talk to people. Fucking, we had like Dan Soder on like within our first 50 shows, and we just sent him a Facebook message, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come to your show," that's amazing. So to be able to have like a conversation with someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been something I love about the podcast. We have a few fans come out to our lot. Like we used to produce a bunch of shows in New York, and we'd have some crazy fans come out and show up, and that was always really fun. It seems like Crazy Girls are one of our major demos, which makes sense because we're
Andrea,
Crazy Girls.
You keep bumping that speaker, Andrea.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Keep your hands off the laptop.
Hands off.
Sit on your hands. Put your ass on your hands.
Hands on my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the greatest things about these podcasts is the people that you get to meet. If you have guests, that's one of the coolest things is meeting somebody that you probably never would have met. You never would have got a chance to sit down and have an intimate conversation with for an hour or however long it goes, and really kind of get to know them and find out their whole story. So
who's your guys' favorite guest?
Our favorite guest? So far, we've had some good ones. You have everyone's different. Some of them, you can tell are a little more nervous. It's a little more difficult to get them to open up, and then you got others that act like it's their 20th time on the show.
Sure.
And man, we've had some good ones. I don't know. What about you, Frenzy? Some of your favorites?
I don't know. Barbara Kennedy is one of my favorites.
She was fun. She was interesting.
She's this badass lady. She's 66 years old. She is an author of like erotica, but not like dirty erotica. Just kind of like
classy,
whatever.
Kind of
classy, totally classy erotica. Nice. She also worked on Wall Street. She holds like the most licenses you can hold to be a worker on Wall Street. She worked at the top of the World Trade Center before 9/11.
Holy shit!
She was
and
Yes, thank you. Epidemiologist.
She went to medical school. She's like, fuck it, I've done all this other shit. I'm just going to go to medical school, too.
Yeah.
She's done pretty much everything.
And she moved to this island, like, in the Caribbean, like, kind of by seashells, I think. I don't remember the name of it, but lived there for a year, had complete access to, like, their whole hospital situation, that did all that, moved back home, like,
what a boss.
Did just all the, I know, right? Like, did all these things. And so it was really interesting talking to her. Plus, she likes to say fuck a lot, which we love.
All right. My kind of woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool when you meet a guest and you have like an immediate vibe with them.
Yeah.
It's like actually a guy I'm fucking listened to my podcast, which is, ooh. That's another thing that's like really hard about being a filthy female comedian and podcaster, is that you can go on the internet and listen to me talking about everyone I've fucked and that time that I shit on someone by accident, and like, it's all out there. But anyways, he started listening, and he said, I can tell the tone in your guys' voice when you vibe with a guest and when you don't vibe with a guest. And there's like a few episodes where like we really hate the guest, or we get in kind of a fight with the guest, and it's just painful to listen to. Like, you can just tell in our tone and everything. It's ugh.
Why are you getting
Why
are you getting in fights with guests?
We've had so let me see. We've had a few fights with guests. One of them, the guest is a comedian who we had a mutual friend with, and we have to dig up a good amount of dirt on our guests because the theme is like, why are you a hot mess? So sometimes comedians talk about it on stage, and it's pretty easy to like figure it out. But other times, it's not. So we asked this comedian's friend, like, what's some good dirt on him? And she told him about he takes like Valium or something. Like, he takes pills, and he'll kind of like take a few days just to be zonked out on pills. And so we brought it up thinking, because our friend listened to the show, so she knew we would bring it up, and he freaked out and was like, that's not something I tell anybody. That's private information. How do you guys know that? And we were like, fuck, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And then he got really, really aggravated. And he started being like, you're not comedians. Kind of just like calling us shit disturbers, which I get. Like, we brought up something really, really private about him, but we didn't know that was a piece of private information. So we had to edit some of it out and smooth it over. And again, like, this is a comedian that's past the cellar. Like, this is not someone who I want to burn a bridge with, but it was just it was just like a comedy of errors. So that'll happen sometimes. Other times, like, because the show is such an intense interview style show, and it is about people's problems, we'll push people on things. Like, I remember we had a guest who talked about how her mom used to abuse her and how her sister abuses her kids. And she kind of was like, I think it's okay to hit your kids. And my co-host was like, I don't. Yeah. And I was like, well, there's two sides of each, I don't have kids. I don't know what it's like, but I could tell the guests felt like they're being judged. And when someone feels like they're being judged, like, they get very cornered and kind of cagey. That episode ended up like turning a corner. When things get confrontational, it's like interesting too. I don't hate it, but it's very, very like tense for sure in the studio.
It makes for good listening, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. I got to do more fight shows, I guess.
We've never had an issue. We've never gotten into any beefs with any guests. We've actually hit it off.
Fuck
pretty well
you, Sarge.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we're gonna start some shit right now.
This is your first.
I don't like your attitude.
I don't like your bullshit, Sarge. I'm kidding. Well, yeah, you guys seem pretty friendly. You're Minnesota people.
We are. We're Minnesota nice.
Good hearts. Yeah. I'm Canadian, too. I'm pretty confrontational for a Canadian. Most people are like, you're from Canada? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Canadians are supposed to be even nicer than Minnesotans.
I know. We are nice, but do you ever notice, like, I guess, I don't know if it's the same in Minnesota, but people act nice to your face, but they're really passive aggressive, or like they just talk shit behind your back a little bit.
It's like that. It's like what do they call it? The southern.
Yeah. When someone from the South is like complimenting you,
bless your heart.
Really...
No,
bless your heart.
I just said to somebody the other day that someone said, like, messaged me on Facebook, like, oh, you're from Minnesota, blah, blah, blah. Everyone there is super nice. I'm like, yeah, we're all fucking passive aggressive is what we are.
Sure, yeah.
Like, there's this bit, I don't remember who did it or where I saw it, and I apologize that I don't remember, but it showed, like, a video of, like, a car accident scene.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got someone rear-ending somebody, and then it's basically based in, like, Minnesota, and they get out of the car and they're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Oh yeah, you're okay, I'm okay, like everybody's okay. Like nobody's pissed off because they fucking rammed their car because they're texting or not paying attention or drunk. They're just like so worried about, is everyone okay? Like that's how it is. But they're really inside, they're pissed.
You're really
pissed off, but they're like
that accent
not going to say that they're pissed off.
Okay.
Yeah. Minnesota.
So yeah, that's my impression of the,
don't you
are you
know?
okay? Don't you know?
Yeah. That's what I love about New York is that if someone has a problem with you, they'll fucking tell you. And it's kind of a shock when you first come here because people think that it's rude, but I don't know. I kind of prefer, it depends on what mood I'm in,
Right.
Sometimes
like if they're
too much.
Because you know what? People are fucking idiots a lot of the times. They say stupid shit. They act stupid. So if you feel comfortable and like good to like call people out on that shit, you should do it. I am not one of those people, and I know that you do, and I appreciate that. I, on the other hand, am not that way. I can be if I'm in the mood, but I generally just try to be like, treat others how you want to be treated. Like,
sure.
I went to private school, like that whole thing. Whatever, but I appreciate someone. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You just totally went the other way. You're like, fuck this bullshit. This has
I
been.
went to like a super preppy boarding school. I know.
Oh, did you have to live there?
Yeah. Yeah. I lived there. I wore a kilt every day. I went to an all-girls school growing up too. It was super, super like preppy.
No wonder you love cock so much.
Yeah, right. My parents made a very big mistake.
Oh, they're like, we totally did this backwards.
I know. Well, my parents they're funny people too. They're forbidden to watch my stand-up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I tell them not to listen to my podcast. I suspect that my mom probably listens, but I think that if they listen to it on their own, they would be like, oh, this is funny if it wasn't their daughter, but because it's me, it's like, oh, I don't want my fucking dad hearing me talk about blowjobs or how much I hate his wife, his new wife, to be clear.
His new, how new?
Like 5 years.
Okay.
She broke up my parents' marriage, and like I talk about that. I talk about my parents and my family pretty openly, and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about it too, as our show gets bigger and bigger, because I know like eventually they're probably going to hear it, and it's not something I wouldn't say. I would say the things that I say on the podcast to my dad's face,
right?
More in a more appropriate and like well packaged way, but like I don't want him to hear me laughing about his like trophy wife.
Right. Like it's more of a conversation that you would have versus
sure.
Like, I'm just going to blurt about this stuff on the podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just going to tell thousands of people on the internet about how much I hate your wife. Like
But you know what?
Yeah.
That's one of the beautiful things about podcasts, this brave new frontier that is podcasting, is that you can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's absolutely nobody telling you what to do, what to say, what you can't say. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very true form of expression, and it's pretty damn awesome.
Oh, I love it. How did you guys start getting into podcasting?
Well, I honestly, had not even heard of podcasting up until maybe, a year or two ago? Not even 2 years ago? Year and a half ago?
Mm-hmm.
Never even heard of it. And had started listening to a couple podcasts of some comedians, and then realized, like, well, this is something that I can do. That it's very a possible thing to do, and just started trying it out. And Frenzy joined on, and after that, it just kind of took off. And once we figured out what we wanted to do, kind of how we wanted to have the format. Have it focus around guests. Our guests are our focus every time. And, like, you are what makes the episode for us.
Hell yeah.
That's how our show works. It's all about you. We just like to hear your guys' stories. And we like to laugh and maybe learn a little something. Or come out of it a little dumber than we were before. That's always fun, too.
Did I make you guys dumber or smarter?
We don't know yet.
Totally smarter.
It's too soon.
All right.
It's too early to tell.
Sarge is still on the fence about me. That's fine.
He's a guy. He takes longer to figure things out.
Yeah,
I know. Men are fucking animals.
I don't process things quickly.
What? Totally.
You women need us animals to lift heavy things, and
oh yeah, because we can't do that by ourselves. Sure. We're so helpless.
I'm gonna get a fucking forklift and then just keep men around to have sex with. I'll keep you guys in cages.
I'm pretty sure there was a dude that invented a forklift, by the way.
Oh yeah,
probably. I don't have the facts in front of me.
About that?
No, Frenzy, can you check that?
No, I can't right now.
Fine.
Fine.
Most likely.
Do you have a lot of female guests? Like, since it's comedians, I'm sure it's a little bit more.
We were just talking about that, and we do have a lot of comedians. The majority of our guests are comedians, just because we are fans of comedy in general.
Yeah.
And you are our second female comedian guest.
Really?
Yes.
Who was the first?
Dee's Matthews.
I don't know.
And,
I don't know her.
And you're our fourth female guest total, like overall.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love having girls on. The problem is I try to reach out to women and I get like no response.
Interesting. Is it because you're an attractive female? That might be why.
I don't know.
Women can be catty and competitive.
I mean, I'm pretty hot, but like I feel like I'm a nice person, so like don't judge me because
they might think you're a bot. Have you ever thought about that?
There's a lot of those. Yep.
Yeah.
Whenever I get a message from someone that I don't know and it's like a very attractive girl, I'm like, you're probably a robot. Yep. But I usually respond to most people. But I don't know. That sucks. I wish that women were more friendly with one another in the entertainment business, because, especially comedy, because there aren't a lot of us. And when we're competing against each other, it's shitty because there already are less of us. We're already kind of the underdog in a lot of ways. So
right, yeah,
we should be like, building. I'm building an army of cunts, is what I like to say.
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't always have to be a competition. I believe in collaboration.
Well, that's what I mean.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
Big time.
Big time.
Comedy doesn't have to be a competition. There's plenty of room.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah. If you're actually funny, there's room for you. There's always room for somebody who's actually legitimately funny.
I don't know about that. I think there's a lot of people who are legitimately funny who get passed by because they don't network, or they don't fit a certain bill, or there's another version of them that's more marketable. I see it happen all the time in New York.
There's like a stereotype or something. Do you think that's yeah?
Yeah. I see comics like every day who are fucking hilarious, who just like aren't at the right spot, or they aren't marketing themselves the right way, or they're not like hustling in a certain way, and they give up. A lot of people give up because it's so much rejection, and there's only a certain number of spots. There's only a certain number of writers for SNL. There's only a certain number of 30-minute Comedy Central spots. I don't know. I wish that I thought, funny is funny was the truth. But I don't know if it's entirely the truth. But maybe I'm just a fucking cold-hearted bitch. I don't know.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
I think you're a badass bitch, is what I think you are.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome.
Take over. Kicking Sarge off.
Vagina's rule.
I had a feeling that I was gonna lose this conversation here. I was gonna be overcome by estrogen. Yeah. I don't have.
Sorry, when you get two alphas joined in with your alpha self, it gets to be a little competitive.
Frenzy approved now.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
right?
I'm just gonna have to bow out and let you two females take this episode the rest of the way.
We're gonna talk about periods, boys,
birth control.
Yeah, all that shit.
I'm curious how your very first time up on stage went.
My first time on stage, I was at a comedy club in Queens, which is called The Creek in the Cave. It's a pretty popular club in New York, and it's also it's a place where there's a lot of open mics. A lot of comedians hang out there. It's kind of I guess you would equate it to like the Comedy Store in LA. It's kind of like a hang place, and a place where people do drugs and fucking bathrooms, and also where comedians really work. It's a cool spot. So I actually went after a comedian who's a good friend of mine now. That was actually the guy earlier who I was talking about who thought I was crazy when I first was on stage. His name is Shakir Stanley, and he's just like a beast. He was on Last Comic Standing. He writes for TV. He's a fucking great comic. Everyone loves him. So he went on, he crushed it. He did this bit about like looking at asses or something, and everyone loved him. And then I went on stage and I started screaming about like throwing up on dicks during blowjobs or something, or like sucking homeless men's dicks for money, something like that. Some terrible fucking joke.
Wait. Sucking homeless men's dicks for money. These homeless guys are giving you money.
Actually, no, it was as an act of charity. I remember the joke now. God, it was so bad. The joke was that in one of my colleges, a girl got really drunk and she sucked off a homeless guy, and everyone found out about it, and everyone made fun of her to the point that she had to like transfer to another school, and the premise was like, I think that girl deserves a medal. Like, people don't give homeless people change, much less like blowjobs. Like, she's a fucking
how many people have gone and run in a bullshit 5K, and how many people have sucked off a homeless dude for charity?
She's a fucking Mother Teresa. She's sucking off.
She stepped up.
Homeless men.
Yeah, fuck your 5K. Fuck your 5K. I sucked a dick for charity.
Yeah, I made that guy's fucking life. He had nothing, and then some drunk college chick was blowing him in the bathroom, and he was like, "This is the greatest fucking day." Anyways, it wasn't like well delivered, and it's also like pretty crass, but whatever. I liked it, but everyone was just staring at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with this chick?" I think I was also super drunk. Like I used to drink before I went on stage, and often I was like pretty sauced, I was pretty liquored up. So I bombed. Like I bombed because an amazing comic went in front of me, and by comparison I looked like ridiculous, and two, because like it was my first time and I had a crazy joke. But I don't know, even though I bombed, I got off stage and was like, oh, that was still like really fun. Like I know I can get better at this, and I love being around this. I loved like Kevin's show is about comics, like watching other comics, and that's a huge part of being a comedian, is getting to see like fellow comics doing their jokes, working shit out, like hanging, talking shit. Like I love everything about it. I love the people. And so I was like, as soon as I got a taste of it, I was like, all right, I mean, I suck, but I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do it every night.
You know what I think is awesome is that you have recognize something that you're passionate about, but you're fucking confident about it too, and you're just like, I'm just gonna do it and figure it out and whatever, and just go with it, and that's fucking awesome, because a lot of people don't have the balls to do that.
I mean, I think a lot of people in general don't have the balls to go after what
anything that they're passionate about,
because they're scared, which I totally get it, but I don't know, man. You only live once, so
like don't be comfortable. Be like, think outside the box. Like, do what you fucking love.
If everybody went after their dream and truly went after their passion, then we wouldn't have places like McDonald's or KFC, because nobody would be settling for that shitty fucking fast food job. They'd be out chasing their dreams.
Well, people would just be happy in general, and there wouldn't be all the other stupid bullshit, like complaining about Lady Gaga's little stomach roll that she has. It's not even fat. Like, stupid,
get a fucking life.
Like, literally, that's like a fucking news story. Like, get the fuck over yourselves. Like, seriously, read a book. Like, do something. It's so annoying.
A huge part of me quitting my job actually was the last job that I had in fashion. I worked for David's Bridal, which is hilarious. I
can't even imagine. Did you have to work like in the store itself?
No,
like,
God, thank God.
Oh, no. God, okay.
Yeah,
good.
I was. Still. There's no way I could handle any brides. I mean, listen to me. But so no, I did their production. I was a production director there, and it was the most corporate job that I'd ever worked. I'd worked for small, like, startups before that. And I just, like, even though I was making the most money I had ever made, I was just fucking miserable. I'm like, no one's doing anything here. We're just sending emails and we're bitching and we're going and eating, like, shitty, like you said, going to eat shitty, sugary foods. Because you're bored and you need something to bring your energy up because you're miserable. And I worked there for like 6 to 8 months, and I was like, I don't care if I have to take a huge salary cut or I have to hustle, do some shady other jobs, or, I'm going to make it work, because this is not how people are supposed to be living. Like, I had this boss who had all these health problems, and I'm like, you don't have health problems. You're just bored because you hate your life.
Yeah. Your soul is dying inside of your body. Like, you're just a shell of a person right now. Like, you have overweight. You're miserable. Yeah, absolutely.
I get to work like 6. He's like, I get to work at 6 because I'm afraid of getting fired, and then I always work late.
Gross.
And I'm like, dude, these people will lay you off in a second. They don't give a shit about you.
Right, exactly.
Why would you do this?
It's
horrible. I know.
It's definitely very, very easy to just settle for the 9 to 5, the secure paycheck, and because, I mean, you got to pay the bills. But a great man once said, and I believe his name was.
Oh, who is it?
I believe
Sarge. Was it you?
Yeah, I believe his name was Bill Burr. Once said that there's no shame in quitting. He said, I believe that you should quit as many things as possible until you find something that you don't want to quit.
Yeah.
Right. I don't necessarily think it is that you're quitting. I think that you're growing. I think that you in your lifetime...
You get the idea. There's no shame in quitting that shitty job that you hate, even if it's a high-paying job. There's no shame in that. In quitting that because you're unhappy. Why fucking... You get one life to live. Why waste it working a fucking job that you can't stand getting up in the morning and going to?
Yeah.
Right. I just don't like to think of it as that you're quitting, because you're not quitting, you're not giving up. You're maybe leaving that job and moving on to something else. But in all respects, you're growing because you're trying different things. Like,
he's just
people
he's taken away some of the stigma of the whole word quitting.
Yeah, I think you, like, I don't know. I like I said, I went to a pretty preppy boarding school. I went to a pretty aggressive college. Like, I've always tried my best to do well. When I graduated from college, it was like right in the middle of the economic crash. So I took a really crazy job. And I think, like, I don't know, my parents' generation is the baby boomers, and both my parents are self-made people. So they place a lot of emphasis on hard work. So I always was like, you have to work hard, you have to do well in everything that you do. And then I hit a certain point where I'm like, it's not about working hard if you're just putting all your energy into something that doesn't matter to you.
Right.
Or like if you're staying late to work at a corporate job, like it's about being smart. If you can't just work yourself to the bone because it's like somehow the honorable thing to do. It's not if you're stupid. I used to work so much and do all this overtime shit and hope that people would notice, and no one ever noticed. At the end of that job at David's Bridal, I was just like, I was being a fucking asshole because I knew I was going to quit. They gave me a raise. They moved me to another department. It was crazy because I was just like, I don't give a fuck. No, I'm not going to do that. There's no point to doing that.
Exactly.
And like weirdly enough, that like competence is like half the battle. Well, I found.
Absolutely.
I can see if you have a job where there is there, you know, say you're a police officer or a teacher or something, you know, and you put in extra hours because you want to be able to go the extra mile to make sure these kids are educated, or you want to, you know, be a better police officer and protect society. You know what I mean? If it's one of those type of jobs, then going the extra mile actually means something. You know, working those extra hours, putting in that extra heart and whatnot. But if you're working a job where the extra hours you're putting in is just making your boss richer.
It's stupid.
You know, what the fuck's the point? If you're going to put in that sweat and those tears, you might as well be doing it towards your dream and something that's going to better you. And it's going to better your soul. It's going to, you know, better your life in general.
Yeah. I think that's a good point, though, is that some people take a really long time to figure out what that thing is.
They do.
Or some people never figure it out, which, I don't know. That's tough. Like when I have friends who are like, I don't like my job, but I don't really know what I'm passionate about. I'm like, I wish I could give you the answer. Cause like, I was lucky enough to stumble into what I was passionate about. But sometimes that doesn't
you just
happen.
don't know. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that if you have the opportunity to like try out different things, or if you don't, I don't know. Yeah. I guess I'm just saying if you're one of the fortunate ones to know what that is, to have that kind of like, fuck yeah, this is what I want to do, then that's awesome. Because a lot of people don't ever get that. So
yeah, they probably don't get it.
Because too many people are pussies. That's why. It's too many pussies out there.
They're fucking pussies because I'm sure there's 50. If you took a poll of like 100 people and 50 of them knew like, oh, I was passionate about this, but I just don't know. I just really drive a really nice car and live in this house and like do all this stuff.
Yeah, everybody just needs to man up, and if everybody has something that pulls them, and they just either don't have the balls to go for it or even, you know, recognize what that is, but everybody knows if they actually take the time to look at it and nurture it, it's there. It's there.
But
you just gotta be willing to look at it because it's there. I mean, it's there. Trust me, it's there.
Well, it's there as far as like things that you're interested in, but like I like fishing, so does that mean I need to be like a designer of fishing tackle, or do I need to be a fishing guide, or do I need to be?
If that's the major thing that pulls at you is fishing, then that's something you should pursue. Why not?
No, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't pursue that. I'm just saying there's people I think that have interest in things that they're super passionate about, but they don't even know the first step to get to that point of where that's like a major part of their life.
I think it's intimidating for a lot of people to translate a passion to something like a direct career. Right. But I think the only way to like go towards making that leap is experience. So it's like then volunteer, or then travel, or, you know, try to meet people with similar interests. Like
just try shit. Like,
sure, exactly. Yeah, yes, a lot of people are like, I wish I knew. Want to make the step. Yeah,
just fucking try shit. Just try
fucking
shit.
Try shit.
Just fucking try shit. That's as basic as an answer as you need. Just fucking try shit.
Yeah, don't. That was mine. Don't steal that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna hashtag that shit.
Concurring.
I hate hashtags.
Try shit.
I hate fucking hashtags.
Why do you hate hashtags?
I just hate them. I don't know.
We're gonna make t-shirts.
I don't hate them, but like people post stuff where they post like their little thing, their little blurb or whatever, and then it's like 37 hashtags after that. Hashtag blah, 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 and it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things. Like,
Francie,
just
I'm with you.
Give me the most important thing that you want me to remember, and then I'm good.
I get
That's
you.
Just stupid people, though.
Well, yeah, I get you. The hashtags.
You don't hate hashtags. You hate stupid people.
Right. I guess that's why I should change it. I like it. That's a good way to think about it.
I have a few opinions.
Opinions are good.
I want to hear a little more about your podcast. Okay.
Sure.
How do you get your guests?
We do a mix. So yeah, I mean, we always want to grow the podcast, so we always try to keep in mind to get at least every month a guest that's like has some draw or kind of a following. That's an important, but they still have to fit our podcast. Like we have to have someone who's kind of an open book or has like an interesting story. There are some people who are really funny on stage, and then on kind of a personal one-on-one level, they're fine, but they don't give much information about themselves. So
sure,
they have to be careful about that. We've had a few of those where it's been like, "Why are you a hot mess?" and they've been like, "I'm fine," and we've been like, "Ooh, okay." So we try to get some bigger people to grow our podcast, but we also try to get people within the New York comedy scene who we think have a different story than the other guests that we've had. So we've had a lot of people who have substance abuse problems. Next week we're going to have a guest who has trouble keeping it up whenever he has a new sexual partner. Like, we like to get a lot of range because there's so many podcasts out there. Like, you want to always have something totally different for your listener. So that's
absolutely
that's a big part of our booking process. Is like, the person has to be quality, and if we're going to take someone who isn't super well known, then we want to make sure that it's like a really great guest, and they're gonna have something super fresh and like
to bring to the table.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we book like, you guys seem to book like months in advance. We kind of do the same thing. We book like a few months ahead of time, and
it's so nice having that already set and not have to worry about it for a couple months.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great, but then, sometimes people cancel and shit, especially New York comics. Like, if they have a paying gig or something different, like, you get kind of thrown under the bus pretty often. So you got to be versatile.
Yeah, totally.
We've been fortunate with that. We just threaten people. You're not allowed to. This is your priority on this date, or else.
Oh, okay.
Or else ... Sometimes I put a fourth dot, but usually
really?
Just 3 dots. Yeah, when I really mean business.
You're the fucking muscle behind this operation.
But how often are you guys? How often are you guys putting out episodes?
Once a week.
Once a week, okay.
We do like 10-minute after shows for the network that we record at, which is Keith and the Girl, and that's like a video kind of thing. We usually do like activities. Like last week, we had a tattoo competition, and me and my co-host had to pick tattoos for us to draw on one another with Sharpie. So I have a huge dick on my stomach right now.
Of course.
The co-host drew on me.
Is it a black dick?
Obviously, come on. Awesome. We're comedians. We know it works. So yeah, that's kind of fun. Like, that's kind of more sketch, the video after show that we do. But the main show is like an interview, and it's once a week.
Okay.
Today we'll be discussing the digitally transmitted male genital depiction, or as it's come to be known, the dick pic.
The only thing I like about naked pictures is that if, like, it's the person that I'm fucking, if they've sent me a naked picture, it's like they've gone through the effort to do that, and like that's kind of hot in my head. Like, oh, you like want to fuck me so badly that you'll do this for me. It's like the intent behind it that's I find attractive.
Right, like you're taking a picture of yourself with your cock, and it's hard, and you're thinking of me. So yeah, I think that's hot.
So like they need to use like props and like backdrops and things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fine. You can use props and backdrops.
I mean, you don't just put a banana next to it for size reference.
What if a guy sent you a pic, a nude pic, and he had like a Hawaiian backdrop, and he had like a tiger in the picture?
I'd be like,
a live tiger.
Yeah, that guy's either that guy's a maniac or he's hilarious.
Probably a serial killer.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If you have the fucking balls to put a Hawaiian backdrop in front of a dick pic, I'm like, you're funny. You're a funny person. You might be a bit of a lunatic, but I'm also into that too. So let's fucking party, weirdo.
Wow.
I like weird people though, so I have a very specific taste in men. So I'm not the rule for sure.
So you guys, these are the kind of things that you talk about on your podcast, on the Hot Mess Comedy Hour podcast.
Yeah, man.
And it's you and who's your co-host?
Her name is Emily Lubin.
Is she a fellow comedian?
Yeah. She's my man, my wife, my non-sexual wife. We spend a lot of time together.
Your podcast wife.
Yeah. A lot of female comics, especially I've noticed in New York. I don't know if it's the same in other cities, but a lot of female comics have another female that they roll with, because there's so many gross like creeps out there. It's nice to have like another girl who can kind of be like your battle partner. And it's cool. Like Emily's kind of I'm the more loud one of the podcast. She's a little bit quieter, but she's still like hilarious. But we have like a good kind of balance
vibe to the
two of us. Yeah. Which it's hard to find. It's hard to find someone that you have like a good comedic duo is rare.
You got a good yin and yang.
Especially, I feel like with females, like to have two girls that can have that back and forth and have it be just natural and normal.
Sure.
Because girls are fucking bitches.
Sure they are, but if if there's a girl who's a bitch and she's bitchy and upfront, then I kind of like you. But, you know, in a partner, I think the best thing about me and Emily's relationship is that we're super honest with one another. So we're not afraid to, like, get in a fight. We've gotten in fights on air about things. Because we know, like, when it comes down to it, we're still friends. We're still, like, two comedians building something together. If there's a fight, we'll deal with it and like be adults and talk about it.
Yeah, you just do what you do.
What do you guys fight about?
Are together for a reason.
What do we get in fights about? Often we get in fights. The most recent fight that we've been getting in is I'm hooking up with a really young guy who's super similar to my ex-boyfriend, and Emily hates that because she thinks it's going to be like a really bad thing. And she's hooking up with a guy who is still married, ?
Whoa.
Maybe. And he's in the process of getting divorced. Him and his wife don't live together. But I'm like, you're fucked up. And she's like, you're fucked up. And like, we're both fucked up. But like, I don't know. We're both kind of like going at each other's throats about how we're being idiots because we don't want the other one to like get hurt. But we'll get in fights. Sometimes we get in fights about giving too much personal information on air. That happens often. Like I said, we've talked about our families, and sometimes that goes too far. We know so much about each other at this point, too, that it's hard. Sometimes I'll divulge things just because I get carried away, and she'll get upset about that. Because, like, when you're in the moment, it's like it's very hard to hold back certain pieces of information. She has a lot of eating disorders, and we've talked about it on air pretty openly. and she gets uncomfortable with it, and like sometimes I'll push it too far by like asking her a lot of prying questions or being critical about her not like putting enough. She stopped seeing her therapist maybe 6 months ago, and then she started going on Weight Watchers, and we had an episode where I like full on confronted her about it and was like, I can't condone you doing this. You've told me everything about your eating problems, and like you've told me before that you shouldn't be going on a calorie counting program, and now you're telling me that you're doing it and getting upset that I'm freaking out. So I mean, that was one of when we have real fights on air that are about like our friendship. It is uncomfortable, but I think a lot of our listeners like our relationship. That's a big part of what people like about our show.
It's real.
Yeah. So it's like, it's tense, but
you legitimately love each other. Like you can tell that through your show.
For sure. Yeah. It's gross. We're definitely.
No, that's not gross.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
It's just real.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both listened to Keith and the Girl, which is the podcast that I work for, and when Keith and the Girl started, they were a couple. Her name is Hemda. And me and Emily both were listeners. That's how we met. And so we are so familiar with a kind of podcast where the two people podcasting are in a relationship and divulge everything about their relationship. So that's why that format is so comfortable for us. I mean, it's kind of like What the Fuck with Marc Maron. It's like all of his fans love who he is. They love his interviews, but they also like they're on his side, kind of.
Yeah,
and
they know,
I think
they love that he's neurotic and manic, and you know they've come to accept him for exactly who he is, and that's
right. They love him for who he is.
Yeah, that's a huge part of like when I listened to that podcast to Keith and the Girl when I was a teenager. I had this weird connection to these two people who lived in New York. I'm living in Vancouver. And I think you feel like they're your friends. And I think that's kind of a huge part of podcasting is like people feel as if they are connecting to another human being that they've never met before. And they're also like listening to this person struggle and identifying in a lot of ways with the way that they struggle. I think that's like a hugely positive thing. I don't know if I would be the person that I am now if I hadn't have listened to their show. I learned everything about stand-up. They introduced me to comedians in New York, and I also learned a lot about like growing up and being in a relationship, just watching and listening to them. So I mean, us being two females is important to me also, because like you said, I think there is a lot of competitiveness between females. I think a lot of female friendships. I have great female friendships, but I've had ones in past that are not great. And
no, not supportive. And like, as a fucking female, like we're powerful motherfuckers.
Yeah, like, we create human life. Get the fuck
absolutely. Like we should be, and that's my whole thing is like females just. I feel like in the most part, I'm not speaking like about you or anybody specifically. Sure. Just in general, from what I've gotten to know, like females are just more competitive and just be supportive. Like, hey, we're fucking in it together. Like, let's do this together. Like, let's be supportive and like appreciate each other and hold each other up and be a tribe and like all that shit. But there's also ones that you don't want to do that with. So it's kind of like, I want to do that, but I don't want to do it with you. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you
girls,
I
get it.
Are you girls forming an alliance? Are you about to vote me off the island?
Yeah. The army of cunts. 5 stars.
No, hashtag cunt army.
I mean, I have really great relationships with men too. But I think females are competitive because we've been told that you have to be beautiful and successful, and you also have to appeal to. We're competing for men. That's kind of like the view that I was growing up with. Like, if you're hotter than another girl, you hold more power than her, and it's like just fucking toxic. And so I do, like, I had an episode where I talked about having an abortion, and as painful as that was, it's like, if there's a younger girl out there that listens to that and knows that there's an adult woman who did that, whether you agree or disagree with it, and I can totally hear both sides, it's like, at least there's someone out there talking about it. When no one talks about these things, it's just, you feel totally isolated. Like, I think people need to be more communicative with one another in the world in general. It doesn't matter if your opinions are different, but if there's nothing out there to connect to, it can feel pretty dark. So I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. I'll have another abortion for my show.
Well, what?
Don't be afraid to speak.
Well,
sure.
What better place than a podcast to talk about everything from cum-based jokes to, serious issues like abortion?
Sure. Yeah.
It's a pretty awesome platform.
Well, it kind of is like we've kind of gone back to a more pure form of entertainment in a way, back to like when people used to listen to the radio or read books and actually engage.
Well, that's all they had was the radio.
Yeah,
but that's when they used to engage in long conversations and long stories and actually be immersed in a story or a conversation, instead of the way like television is right now, where it's all this quick, like bam, bam, bam in your face, 20-second scenes and commercials and shit like that, where you're not really like getting immersed in anything. You're not really getting to know the people, the characters that you're seeing. Like this is Andrea Allan. I mean, without a podcast, all that people would know about you is what they see on stage.
Oh, geez, that'd be a scary world.
I know. Everyone would be terrified of you.
I think you'd be... No, you'd be fine.
They'd never, I'd be I'm never talking to this girl.
I think, I think that's a very, very good point. Especially, I love it with comedians, because comedians do have a stage persona, and you kind of expect them to be one thing, and sometimes you'll learn, like, especially in our show, you'll learn, like, stuff you'd never imagined. Yeah. Like, we had this guy named Kyle Ayers, who's like a really great comedian, and he has this insomnia problem where he won't sleep for like 4 or 5 days in a row. And I'm like, what? This is like one of the best comedians in New York City. He seems to have his shit so together. And then I'm finding out that he's sleepwalking on the New York City train tracks and like,
holy shit,
showing up to work while he's still asleep. Like, it's crazy. Everyone has a bunch of stuff happening below the surface. So it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Hey, have you ever? I feel like you would love this TV show. Have you ever watched Shameless on Netflix?
Oh yes, God. I have.
Fuck yeah! Did you
so
like
many
it?
people recommend that. Yes, I do like it. So many people recommend that show to me, and I'm like, what do you think about?
No, not saying that like.
No. I totally get it.
I'm stereotyping you for that, but like, I love that fucking like.
No,
I have the very last episode to watch, and I'm like dreading watching it because I don't want it to be over. I'm like, no.
I love it. No, I love it.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Not a criticism at all. It's just funny.
Good.
Everyone.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that my mom turned me onto it. My mom is the one that told me about it.
Oh yeah, parents are fucked up too.
Right.
That's a fun thing to find out.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Shameless Fan Podcast.
Yeah, right.
Where we talk all about the
shit.
I feel like we should get some money from them or something.
I know.
Some royalties, mailbox money.
Monetize that pod.
I think this is a red flag for the end of this podcast.
All right.
When we start talking about Shameless.
Sorry,
you're not.
Sorry, not sorry.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Andrea, where can we find you? Where can our loyal listeners and your faithful followers and fans find you on social media?
So you can follow me. I would love if you follow my podcast, since I am talking to podcast listeners. We love you guys. At the Hot Mess Comedy Hour on Instagram, and on Twitter we are Hot Mess Podcast. Or you can look up our podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud, Stitcher. The only one that I think we're not on is the one that you're on, which
Spreaker.
is
Spreaker,
yeah.
That's a good one.
Sorry,
you should check it out.
Sorry, Spreaker fans.
It's a good one.
It's kind of hard to work. Anyways, whatever. You can find us. Just Google the Hot Mess Comedy Hour, and you can follow my Twitter at Andrea Comedy if you so desire. But I don't tweet that often, so listen to my show. You can hear what crazy shit I'm up to every week, and I would love to have some of your fans come over and listen to me.
Definitely.
Fuck yeah.
The one
badass chick over here.
The one I listened to today was with that male comedian. Was it Ray?
Oh my God, Ray Kump. Yes.
Yes, Ray Kump. That was a good one. I listened to the whole thing, all the way to the end.
Well, listen, you're going to have to get over it. I'll listen to a full episode of yours, and I'll report back. Since you're so pissed that I only listened to half of one. Yeah, Ray Kump's a good one. He has a podcast too, actually, called Tim Dillon is Going to Hell, and he talks with another comedian named Tim Dillon about why they're going to hell. So very on brand for
awesome.
What I'm into.
We'll have to check that one out.
Cool.
Check it out.
Check it out,
and,
yo.
You have a website too, right?
Sure, I do. It's kind of, under construction, but you can just look at AndreaComedy.com if you want to get any information on my podcast. I'll update it soon, but that's a good place to start, for sure.
Awesome.
Or add me on Facebook and send me a picture of your dick, or send me a weird message. I love it.
As long as there's a Hawaiian backdrop and a tiger in the photo.
Send it over. I'll respond to you.
That's your criteria.
I'll respond to everybody's. If someone does that, I'm sending you guys a photo of it.
Please do it.
Please do.
I implore your fans. Someone step up to the plate.
Yes. The only criteria: Hawaiian backdrop, tiger.
That's it.
So do you have anything coming up?
Sure. Yeah. So I do have. If any of your fans are in New York, I have a comedy competition at Caroline's. It's March Madness. It's basically like similar to March Madness. Is that football? I don't know. I don't know sports.
No, basketball.
College basketball.
Sorry, Sarge. I don't know shit about sports. But I think it's based off that. So comedians face off, and then one person wins the competition and moves forward. Anyways, it's pretty intense, but it's got like a lot of New York's best comics, and so I'll be in that. The first show is on March 1st, and you can just go on the Caroline's website to check that out. I would love people to come out for that.
Awesome. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's really cool. And if you look at my Instagram or whatever, I usually post shows. So yeah, follow me around.
Cool.
Do all the following.
Yeah. Follow worship.
We're definitely going to keep track of that.
Hell yeah.
Cool. All right. Well,
thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being
here. Thanks for joining us. It was super fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
Boom.
That piece of shit guy is going to take me back to his subpar apartment and just fuck me and disrespect me like the piece of human whore trash that I am. Yes! Oh, yes, I am so excited.
Okay, that was our guest, comedian Andrea Allan.
Andrea.
An interesting podcast.
Yes, lots of cussing.
A wide range of topics that were discussed.
Yeah, I loved all of them, though.
Some serious topics, some very sexual and innuendo-laden topics. And, yeah, I think we covered all the bases.
Yeah, totally.
She's a pretty cool girl. She's pretty damn funny, and she's a psychopath on the stage. She's got the podcast, Hot Mess Comedy Hour. And she does her stand-up in New York. So make sure you check out her podcast, and you can find that on all the info for that on her episode page. And check out the Sarge Approved podcast on iTunes and Spreaker.
SargeApproved.com.
On our website, YouTube, and where else? Just look us up. You'll find us.
Yeah.
And then while you're at it, go check out National Survival Center. They've got everything you need if you're looking for outdoor gear or camping gear, or you want to go and stock up for the zombie apocalypse.
Some machetes.
Mm-hmm. They got everything. Tents, sleeping bags, survival food. Just go check it out. You'll find everything there cheaper than you're probably going to find it anywhere else on the internet. And they got free shipping on pretty much all their gear. Mm-hmm. So go check them out at nationalsurvivalcenter.com or survivedon'tsuffer.com. That's their motto.
Yeah, don't you dare suffer. You better survive.
Survive, don't suffer. All right, what do we got? Our next guest coming up is not until the 20th, and that's going to be Mike Lowe.
From Alone, the History Channel's show.
He was on season 1 with Alan Kay.
Yes, he was.
We had on last month.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting to hear his story and his whole side of his experience on the island there during season 1. So definitely looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a pretty cool guy, very interesting guy, and very knowledgeable. And then after him, the very next day, we got comedian Mike Caswell.
Yes.
So 2 good guests coming up. So make sure to stay tuned for that and watch out for it. All right. Anything else, Frenzy?
Nope. That's all I got.
This is it. I think we're done talking to you people.
I'm done with you.
I'm ready to get the hell out of here. We're going to end this episode with a song by Break the Bands called Cocksuckers. Thanks for being with us.
Bye.
Later, fuckers.
It's happening.